I come from the Central Valley in California. I'm the second son of three sons to Peter and Kathy Bailey. My older brother's name is also Peter, and my younger brother's name is Dylan. We're a very close-knit family, and my parents have been married for 31 years. The Central Valley is called that because it's located in the center of California. It takes up roughly a third of the entire state, so it's huge, and it's well known for its agriculture. I grew up seeing a lot of trains and a lot of orchards. That's also where I started my higher education. At Modesto Junior College, I received 2 AAs, one in transfer studies and one in English. And I took those 2 degrees and transferred to Sonoma State University. And that's where I got my bachelor's degree in English, with an emphasis on literature. At a very young age, I became a voracious reader, and have been ever since. One of the things I've always loved about books is their ability to transport you to new places and introduce you to new characters and new ideas. In high school growing up in the Central Valley, reading books by people like Fyodor Dostoevsky and Khalil Gibran opened my eyes to a much broader world than I knew I was seeing. And I wanted to experience that world firsthand. When I was 20, I was finally given an opportunity to go abroad when I joined Jabulani Africa Ministries, which was a volunteer organization based out of South Africa. I moved to South Africa and lived there for about a year and traveled all over that country. And I also got to spend time in Zambia and Swaziland. I loved every moment of it. I just couldn't get enough. And it also sparked my interest in teaching. After leaving there, I moved back to California and started earnestly working on my bachelor's degree because I wanted to be able to teach in the future. Anybody who has an interest in traveling and seeing the world just has to see Istanbul. Not only is it one of the largest cities in the world, but it's one of the most diverse. And that's because it's geographically situated in the middle of everything. Turkey is right there between Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. And just geographically being where it is, it can't help but just draw everybody together. That's where everybody's going to meet. And it's inevitable that those cultures are going to mix and mesh in interesting ways that you're just not going to get anywhere else. Besides just the fact that there's tons of cultural diversity, there's also just the history of Istanbul. It was basically the center of European culture after the fall of Rome for hundreds of years, and it's still today is one of the most interesting places to see. With that, I don't know who wouldn't be drawn to teach in Istanbul. That classroom management is about positive reinforcement and working together. By positive reinforcement, I mean celebrating success as it comes, and that can be as simple as keeping a big chart with every student in the classroom's name on it. And you take that chart, and as students participate throughout the week by turning in their homework or answering questions or leading groups, you put stickers by their name, and you reward the students who are excelling at the end of the week by giving them some sort of treat. That gives the students who are excelling motivation to continue to do so, and students who aren't excelling motivation to excel. By collaboration, I mean that I'm not just a teacher standing in front of the classroom, but you want the class to work together as often as possible and me to work with the class. That makes large groups easier to manage because you're not just standing in front of 25 individuals, but you've got 5 groups of 5 teaching each other as you work with them. And that's beneficial in a few ways. The first of which being that a student who doesn't understand can have the concept explained by a student who does get it in a way that maybe I wouldn't be able to explain it. And then anytime you can reinforce the idea that cooperation is mutually beneficial to young people, I think that that is a good thing to teach. When students do act up in class, I do think it's important to address it immediately, but it doesn't have to be harsh. Maybe just address it by saying, we've got other things to focus on right now, why don't you try to, put that energy into your work. If they continue to act up, maybe move them somewhere else in the classroom. Sometimes just being somewhere else makes them a little bit less likely to act up. If they continue to act up after that, then at the end of the day, maybe call them to you and address the situation by telling them that their actions are affecting their fellow students and their learning outcomes. They're not going to learn as much, and their fellow students aren't going to learn as much if they continue to behave in that manner. Overall, I think it's important to be positive, though. So you address those things as they come, but really it's all about celebrating success.